Testing 1, 2. Okay, I think I'm live and I'm having a little problem with an audio. So I'm going to fix that right now, kick that hum out. Okay, there we go. Welcome to the Coming Apocalypse. I'm Pastor Paul Begley. Sorry, yesterday we had a little bit of problem, but we got everything back where it needs to be. All right, so welcome to the Coming Apocalypse. It's going to be a very interesting day. We're going to keep you up to speed throughout the day with several things happening. But right now, I want to first put a quick shout out, if I could, for www.thehealthyfat.com/Paul. What? This is crazy. I mean, it's amazing product, and the name just cracks me up every time. It's again www.thehealthyfat.com /Paul. That's www.thehealthyfat.com /Paul. Now, here's the deal. Guys, look at this. It turns out the key to losing weight and keeping it off is not in carbs or fat or even in probiotic-rich foods. No, the end game of having a healthy weight, as well as more energy and long, healthy life, comes down to the specific switch you can flip in your body to flush out the unnecessary calories. Dr. Stephen Gundry he calls this chlorodic bypass. That's his, he coined it, chlorodic bypass. And by activating this specific process in your body, he has seen thousands of people dramatically improve their health, even at age 50 and beyond. This includes losing weight, getting tons of more energy, returning to good health they had in their youth once they simply address this one key to a better health. Now, not only for that is actually associated with improved digestion, strong feeling, joints and muscles, smoother skin, healthier lives, meaning it could be the key to a happy life. Dr. Stephen Gundry has lost 70 pounds himself using his research and has kept the weight off for 20 years and counting. His digestive issues are gone. His health is fantastic. He feels stronger and healthier today than he ever did back in his 40s. His video has been watched over 20 million times. And if you will watch it, you will learn about how to have www.thehealthyfat.com /Paul. I have put the link right here in this video below, down there in the description. Click on it. It will take you straight there and watch the video. You will be very glad you did. Again, that's www.thehealthyfat.com /Paul. All right. So, guys, while we're sitting here beginning to realize that we're living in the end times, okay? We are living in the end times, and what's happening today, we have a red alert. Now, this took place yesterday, late in the evening, and where Russian peacekeepers over in Armenia, and some of you may know this, that the Armenian Christians who are part of the four quarters of Jerusalem, you know, you have the Jewish quarters, you have the Muslim quarters, you have the Armenian quarters, and so they make up a major section of the old city of Jerusalem. They're the oldest Christians in the Holy Land, outside of the Coptic Christians, of course, from Egypt. But they're in Israel. These Christians have been around a long time, and they're very dedicated. And I've met with them. I've met with some of their priests. They're very nice people, but they have been tormented over the years, especially by Turkey. They have been really, really tormented. And during World War I, about 1 million of the Armenians, Christians, were murdered by the Turks. And the Turks, to this day, still do not acknowledge they did that. Well, let me tell you what's happened last night. Russian peacekeepers were killed as a military vehicle carrying Russian peacekeepers in Armenia came under fire, and its crew was killed as Azerbaijan stepped up its attacks See, they attacked Armenia, and the peacekeepers from Russia were negotiating a ceasefire and trying to bring back peace to that region. And the Russian peacekeepers were then attacked, and everybody in the Jeep, the whole crew was killed by the Azerbaijan soldiers. So in a statement released by the Ministry of Defense, officials said that the patrol was hit near the village of Deneztag, and I might have said that right. A car with Russian servicemen, soldiers, came under small arms fire. As a result of the shelling, the Russian servicemen in the vehicle were all killed. The number of dead has yet to be disclosed, but everybody in the car was killed, everybody in the Jeep. The incident comes after Azerbaijan launched attacks, and its armed forces announced that they had effectively attacked Armenia, taking control of a breakaway region in a lightning offensive operation. Okay, and Nagorno-Karabakh is the region. A Moscow brokered ceasefire by the Russians has since been agreed, with talks with the future of the territory slated for today. Meanwhile, though, the Azerbaijan soldiers attacked the Russian peacekeepers and then killed them after they negotiated a ceasefire and a setup for negotiations to take place today. So this is a red alert. Earlier this month, even, the Armenians, who were once close allies to the Kremlin, decided to send humanitarian aid to Ukraine for the first time since the start of the Russian invasion of Ukraine. And so they said this, look, we just want to send food to the people. But Russia was not happy with this. And Russians, distracted by its increasingly catastrophic war in Ukraine, fears are growing in Armenia over whether President Vladimir Putin's soldiers are willing or able to keep the peace in Armenian, in the area there in Armenia. So Armenian Prime Minister said that the peacekeeping mission had failed. As a result of the events in Ukraine, the capabilities of Russia have changed, acknowledging that Moscow is seeking to avoid alienating Azerbaijan and its close ally Turkey, both of which who have risen in strategic importance for the Kremlin since the start of the war in Ukraine. So guess who's caught in the crossfire? If Turkey and Azerbaijan are now building close relationships, and they are, with Russia, Armenia is stuck in the middle. And now they become a problem because they're in the way. And now the Armenians were trying to get along with the Russians, because obviously if you get along with the Russians, you try to have peace. They already have enough problems with the Azerbaijan and with Turkey, who Turkey has always taken cheap shots and attacks on the poor Armenian people. But now that the Armenians sent humanitarian aid to Ukraine, this has ticked off, if you will, the Kremlin and Vladimir Putin. And though the Russians were sent there, guess what? Azerbaijan killed the Russian peacekeepers. Now, wait a minute. Azerbaijan's supposed to be an ally of Russia. What I think is going to happen here, and I think what it was supposed to be, was a false flag. I honestly believe that Russia was trying to do a false flag, or maybe Azerbaijan was trying to do a false flag, and probably was Azerbaijan killing the Russian peacekeepers and going to blame it on the Armenians. So so that Armenian troops are legit. They killed 8 Russian peacekeepers. Actually, though, it was the Azerbaijan that killed the peacekeepers and not the Armenians. But the Armenians are the ones that are going to get the blame here, maybe, but maybe not, since it has been disclosed. But, it depends which media is promoting it. Okay. They were killed by Azerbaijan, according to Politico. But I would think that there's probably media that are going to try to say it's the other way around and put the blame on the Armenians, which wouldn't make sense. The Armenians are definitely wanting peace in the region. The last thing they want to do is, after negotiating some type of peace arrangement, which was going to include some more negotiations, then go out and kill the peacekeepers? I don't think so. But Azerbaijan is motivated, along with Turkey, to take out the Armenians. Now, the problem is, people don't know this, but the Armenians helped Israel many years ago. I mean, many, many years ago, the Armenian people. This is before Christ. And because they did, it's like God has protected the Armenians, and they've never lost. They've never lost their ground. They've never lost their country. They just don't. They can't lose. It's like God's hand is on, no matter how overwhelmed they are by the enemy. So you can see what's going on right now. The Bible says in the last days that there will be wars and rumors of wars, and nation would rise against nation and kingdoms against kingdoms. And so this is what's happening now. We're watching, and people are taking advantage. People are taking advantage of the chaos. This is why I keep saying, watch out. China will probably go after Taiwan before Russia-Ukraine situation is settled. And and then again, you may say Iran. Now that Iran's got their hands on $6 billion, you may see them try to take advantage of a world beginning to go into chaos. And then that's how you wind up in World War III. If you was to look at this from a strategic standpoint, the Russian invasion of Ukraine has put Europe completely on edge. The Americans are sending billions and billions and billions of dollars of material aid, military aid, and technology and planes and arms and ammunition to Ukraine, and to try to help protect the rest of Ukraine, and to really try to protect while we are preoccupied with that area. If China makes a move on Taiwan, then I think Iran will make their move on Israel. And what this does, it spreads the world into three fronts. A Middle East war would break out, and it's South Pacific war, certainly in the China Sea, that area would break out, and Japan would get involved as well. And who knows who else? Probably South Korea. And then North Korea certainly would engage. So that whole South Pacific area would be up in, it'd be China, and it'd be just, in the United States be trying to send boats and ships and the Navy there. But at the same time, we have the Russian-Ukraine thing, and same time you could have a Middle East war. This is what I'm saying. This is why I look at the book of Revelation, and when I look at the 9th chapter and the 6th trumpet war, which is really World War III, there's a war coming, folks. It's prophesied in your Bible. There's a war coming that's prophesied in your Bible that will kill a large percentage of the population of the earth. And let me just read a couple verses from that. This is Revelation chapter 9. That's why I'm saying red alert, because we're just a hair trigger away from the entire world. See, then everybody has to choose up sides. The entire Middle East has to decide, are you going to be with Israel or are you going to be with Iran? Okay? And it might be to your advantage to be with Israel, because Iranians are Shiite Muslims, and most of the Middle East area is Sunni. Sunni Muslims make up 85% of the Islamic faith. And Sunnis is who the Saudi Arabians are. And of course, Mecca is in Saudi Arabia, and so is Medina, which Mecca is the Mecca, if you will, the worship that goes on there. And Medina is the grave of the Prophet Muhammad. So you got the two most holiest Islamic sites in Saudi Arabia. And the Saudis are Sunnis, which are much more mellower, if you will, believers in Islam, where the radicals are the Shiites, and they believe in an apocalyptic conclusion to taking Israel by force. Now, then, if war breaks out, if Iran actually attacks Israel, then the rest of these nations, Bahrain and Qatar and Kuwait and UAE and Saudi Arabia and these other nations have to decide which side they're going to be on. So you can see things starting to spin out of control. Let me read what it says in Revelation. In chapter 9, it says, after Apollyon comes out of the bottomless pit, then it says in verse 13, and the sixth angel sounded, and I heard a voice from the four horns of the golden altar, which is before God, saying to the sixth angel, which had the trumpet, loose the four angels which are bound in the great river Euphrates. And the four angels were loosed, which were prepared for an hour and a day and a month and a year, for to slay the third part of men, 1/3 of the world. And the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000 thousands, or 200 million. And I heard the number of them. So John knows exactly how many were involved in this attack that ends up killing 1/3 of the population of the earth. Does it mean they use nuclear weapons? Does it mean they use biological weapons? Or are there new laser weapons? Are there new types of weapons that can cause such, or is there just too many countries with nuclear weapons? I was just watching Mohammed bin Salman last night. He was being interviewed by Brett Baer on Fox News. It was a fascinating interview. And Mohammed bin Salman portrays himself as a very peaceable man who wants to invest in the Middle East. He wants to invest in Israel. He wants to invest in Jordan and the UAE. He wants to build a train track that goes from India through, the UAE and makes their way through Saudi Arabia and through Israel and all the way into Europe. And so they create this train track so that India can be the larger supplier to the Western world and the Middle East instead of China. This is very interesting. Yet at the same time, he was able to get China to come and work with him to put a peace deal together with Iran. And I noticed that after that deal was done, then that's when Biden decided to give Iran the $6 billion, to release to Iran the $6 billion. So what will Iran do with the $6 billion? So they're working to get nuclear weapons. And Brett Baer asked Mohammed bin Salman, he said, if Iran gets a nuclear weapon, what will you do? He said, then I'll get one. I don't want to. We don't need to have too many countries. The more countries that have nuclear weapons, the more possibility of catastrophic, cataclysmic end of the earth, if you will. It's not good. But if they get it, we have no choice. We have to have something to counter them. We have to have a way to threaten that, a deterrent of some sort. So you can see what's happening. The cat's out of the bag. And the world is getting itself in preparation, really, for the sixth trumpet war. And that's what the Lord warned me about in the book of Revelation, chapter 9, verse 11. That's why my book's coming out very soon in April. And Revelation 9:11, I'm co-authoring that book with Troy Anderson. The two of us are working together to make that work. And I think that I think it's going to change lives and open eyes for sure. You can get that. You can pre-order your book today at on Revelation 9:11 over at Amazon.com. Or everywhere else books are sold. It's going pre-ordering now everywhere. Do this. Get your ticket for the final countdown. That's right. Road to Revelation. we are going to have an incredible webinar. I mean, yesterday, was it yesterday? No, it was Tuesday. Just tremendous presentations came forward. I got 2 more to film today. It's incredible what's going on. So you want to get your tickets for this webinar for sure. This will be the most comprehensive, 11 different speakers, all the presentations are from the book of Revelation, and it is fascinating. It's going to be incredible. I just did Ricky Baker yesterday. I interviewed Ricky Baker, or Tuesday I interviewed Ricky Baker. He was sharp and was amazing, powerful word that the Lord was revealing to him from the book of Revelation. Also, I've already interviewed Steve Ciccalante. Rex Bear did a phenomenal job. And then he really did. It was incredible. Rex Bear is the best presentation he's ever done on anything. And then today I'm interviewing Michelle Dany, and who's a French American who is a phenomenal. You are going to in his charts, his graphs, his explanation of this 7 seals, the 7 trumpets, and the 7 vials of God. I think you're going to love that. And also today I'm interviewing. Is it Mark Bills? I can't remember. Okay, I have to look at my notes, guys. I'll let you go. There's more going on. I'll be back with more current world events and how they relate to biblical prophecy. I would say that what all I'm talking about today is, you can pretty well sum it up with this song.
God, I'm so scared for this crooked generation. You even find faith in the earth when you bring down revelation. Forgive us now the sins of our youth, worshiping the idols that knew everything but the truth. Teach us how to uncorrupt our minds. Show us now while we still have the time. We need you, Yeshua. Holy, holy, hallelujah. We need you, Yeshua. Holy, holy, hallelujah. We abandon everything to follow you, our King. We throw our gold and silver in the stream. How much will we see before the fire falls? Lord, could this really be the last altar call? We need your blood over the doorposts of our hearts. Anoint us with your fiery love as the praise and worship starts. We need you, Yeshua. Holy, holy, hallelujah. We need you, Yeshua.
Oh, yes, we do.
Holy, holy, hallelujah. We abandon everything to follow you, our King. We throw our gold and silver in the streets. Oh, we abandon everything to follow you, our King. We throw our gold and silver in the street.
Are you serious? We need you. We need you, Yeshua. Jesus of Nazareth.
We abandoned everything to follow you, our King. We throw our gold and silver in the street. We abandoned everything to follow you, our King. We throw our gold and silver in the street.
Israel Hall wrote the song. It's on my album, Harmonize and Prophesy. We'll be back in a few minutes with another breaking information here on the coming apocalypse.